Good afternoon. Hi, it's Maria Quattrone with Remax at Home and Be the Solution. And today I'd like to welcome my guest, Carl SanFilippo from East Brunswick, New Jersey. Welcome, Carl.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
Oh, you're welcome. Carl is the broker owner of Remax First, and he started not that very long ago with only 8 agents, and now you have, what, over 125?
Yes, we're about 130.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. So, Carl, why don't you tell everybody, well, you know what? I want to say congratulations. I hear that you are expecting a little baby boy.
Yeah, my wife's about
In
4
December?
months pregnant. Yep. So it's been a heck of a ride the last few months for sure.
I guess you've been busy.
Yeah, but all good. Very blessed.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on that. But why don't you tell us a little bit about you and you, Carl, and your business, and we'll go from there.
Well, it's funny. So, again, thanks for having me. I always like to tell a little bit about my story. I was actually living in Philadelphia. I was working on Broad Street, across from the Bellevue building, 123 Broad Street. I had a job. I went to Lehigh University. I got my master's degree. I thought this was the job I wanted, right? It was like, this is everything I worked for. Here's a political job. I'm in there for a month and I hated it.
Only a month?
After a month, I know right away. And after a month, I was leaving thinking, oh my God, I don't want to come back, right? And I'm like, this is no way to live. So I ended up getting a job at a real estate investment firm. That didn't work there for a while. I just found out that I was truly passionate and I loved real estate. So my mom had been in real estate as a commercial agent at a residential brokerage shop, but she focused mostly on commercial. So I kind of called up my parents and I said, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going to move home in Central Jersey, in Hillsborough, and I really want to start real estate. I was about 25, 26 years old. I have no responsibilities right now. I don't really have any bills. Like, this is the time I could come in and really focus on doing real estate. So I moved out of Philadelphia. I moved home back to my parents' house. I got a credit card with 0% interest that I used for 12 months. And I said, if I can't pay this off at the end of 12 months, I'm going to go get a real job, right? Because real estate's not a real job. So I went in and I just started working like it was a 9-to-5 job in real estate. And I built a pretty good book of business quickly. Focused a lot on REOs. And this was right before 2008. This was 2006, 2007. So in 2008, when the REO market really became large, I was already in a position there to service a lot of REOs.
Smart.
Yeah, and it was a lot of work. I think I started working in April, and I didn't have my first close until February the next year. And I worked like it was 50 hours a week. And I tell agents, all I did was I made calls. That's all I could do. I didn't have money. You couldn't buy leads in Zillow. I mean, there's so much more opportunities for agents to come in and gain bigger market share as an agent now than there were years ago. But there was no secret recipe. I didn't have great training. I just figured things out. I did a lot of things that were probably wrong. And if I had some better mentors in my career in the beginning, probably would have cut my learning curve down a lot. But I just worked really hard and then became a pretty big agent in my area fairly quick. And then about 7 years into being an agent, I said, I want to do something new. So I ended up buying a brokerage. We had about 8 agents in the brokerage. And what I did was, again, I just, with that same kind of work ethic, not really knowing what I was doing, but with the big difference I had this time is I started surrounding myself with some good mentors. We were able to grow the brokerage into 2 locations, 130 agents. We were number 2 in Remax in the state in units last year. But all that sounds good. But more importantly, I'm surrounded by a bunch of great people who I really enjoy working with. And, it's the exact opposite of my political job in Pennsylvania, where I would leave and I would think, oh my gosh, I got to go back tomorrow already. I go home and I come back. I can't wait to come back. Like, I love doing this, truly passionate about it.
That's amazing. I love that story. You knew in a month.
Well, I knew in a week. I knew it in a week.
You gave it a month.
I gave it a month because I'm thinking this is the path I'm supposed to go. I went to school, college. This was the way I was supposed to go. But I found out, and I tell people this all the time when they ask me for advice, it's not about having a path. It's about having a passion. Like whatever you're passionate about, that's what you should be doing. And that's what you can really, you'll monetize it if you're passionate about it. But I just realized for me, life was too short. I didn't want to leave a job thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go back tomorrow, right? I wake up every day, I'm excited to work, whether it's in the office or working at home or whatever it might be. And I'm just really passionate about trying to help agents in their business, right? That's where I see my true value. If I can help agents with their business, I can help them grow. Really drives me. Like I really love when an agent says, hey, Carl, I did this on your advice and it really worked. Like, I love that part of it.
What are you telling them to do today? You had mentioned to me before we got on that the inventory in your area is really low. So what's some advice that you're giving your agents or agents in general to help them through this time? And obviously it's market specific, but the same principles, apply everywhere.
Great question. So I'll walk through. So when COVID started, we instantly switched to online trainings, online agent interviews, things like this to keep the agents engaged. A lot of people were starting to pull back. I doubled down. I said, we need to be doing something every single day. We need to be engaging agents. That's the least of my responsibilities and what I owe our agents is this. So we brought in a ton of great agents. We did top agent panels. We did trainings, keeping agents engaged. And what I told agents in that time was, this is the time to, and I always said this is you can market, but your marketing could last forever. And that's not always a good thing. You got to be careful you got to be marketing with the right message right now. So I told agents, this is a great time to prepare your business, work on your scripts, work on your marketing material, work on everything that you always said, oh, if I wasn't so busy, I could work on, because we had a slowdown. But in New Jersey, especially in our area in Central Jersey, we've seen a real growth of buyers. But we don't have that inventory. So what I'm coaching agents to do is make sure you're reaching out to your sphere. Try to create inventory. If you have a buyer looking in a complex and there's no inventory, it's a great opportunity to reach out, do a mailer or something in that to get in front of maybe potential sellers. Yeah, inventory is going to stay tight.
It is going to stay tight. What's the absorption rate right now, market-wide?
That is a great question for somebody who I don't know. All I know, and I wish I did, and I would ask someone on my staff, and they could probably tell me. But all I know is it is more competitive now than it was 6 months ago. We used to joke around that 24 hours you're going to get an offer. Now it feels like 24 minutes.
Wow, that busy.
Right? It is super busy. Inventory super tight. And it makes sense because rates have gone so low. We've had buyers coming in from New York. Inventory has been so tight that it's become tighter. So it's really this is the time that you have to stay in front of your past clients, your referrals, your sphere of influence. This is the time to double down on your marketing. This is a time to stay really, really focused on the business. Because again, if you're writing an offer, you have to also be educating your buyers on this market. The house is priced right and you want to go into an offer on $15,000 because you want to leave room for negotiations, you better be ready for multiple offers to come in. It's just what's happening in the market. And more as agents that we can educate the public and our clients on the market conditions and what it's like right now, the better off you're going to have in a relationship with that buyer. Right? The breakdown is always when expectations aren't being met. So if you're not educating, you're not setting the expectations with your buyers or your sellers, and if you can't properly explain to your seller the safety precautions we're taking during COVID-19, they're not going to want to list. It's our job to educate the clientele. And that's what makes us different than some of the disruptors in the industry that we can't be replaced with, is we have to be constantly educating our clientele, especially now because the markets are so changing. There's so much different information out there right now.
Don't you feel like the market's changing from week to week?
Day to day, right? Day to day.
I was trying to be kind.
Day to day, minute to minute, you know, and as an agent, you got to be flexible and you got to be able to pivot.
You quickly, constantly, because the message to market is changing all the time, right?
Right.
Because the first thing was, how do we get the closings in Pennsylvania anyway? How do we get the closings to the table virtually? Because we didn't have a virtual notary.
Right.
So that was hurdle one. Hurdle two, how do we get people to use Zoom and Zoom through their house for a listing presentation? Right. Hurdle two, how do we get people to buy through a 3D tour without seeing the home? How do we now get buyers to buy through a 3D tour as the first showing, and the second showing being the walkthrough to put the offer in?
Right.
Right. So as
the only thing that's been consistent is that things are changing. Right. And I look at that as our job as the brokers to help the agents through these changes. And that's what we're really focused on with a lot of our Zoom trainings, our seminars, helping with marketing. Because if you're not going to be adapting, you're going to be left behind right now. And, you know, we're going to see how it's going to play out long term, but we are, like I said, we are busy, and our agents have been doing a fantastic job of adapting to the new norm, as people like to say, and really providing a lot of value to their clients.
I think a good resource probably for them might be also if they're looking, say, in a subdivision or certain, you know, certain zip code or areas to invest in Cold Realty Source. Because they probably don't want to necessarily be door knocking, I don't think right now, probably not. But they could get the numbers through Cold Realty Source and dump those into, you know, if they have like a Vulcan 7, or they can hand dial them, obviously, or they can put them in Mojo or one of those things and dial for dollars around a house that just sold that their client didn't get the bid on, and find out if there's a make me move number for a seller.
And that's a great way of creating the inventory. Right? Life's about 10. Life's about, you know, 10% what's happening, 90% about how you react to it.
Yes.
You know, and I've seen agents, and we have a lot of listing agents in our office. You know, we've seen listing agents turn their dialogue, how they've done listing presentations, everything on a dime, and pivot it. And it's been really incredible to see the resilience as an industry during these times.
Oh, 100%. It's been, I mean, you had to change or you were going to be left behind, right? And RE/MAX is known for having a lot of strong listing agents in general as a brokerage, just because the way that most of the RE/MAXs are set up. So that makes a lot of sense. So you must have a lot of listings in your company.
We do. We carry a lot of listings as a company. We have some very strong listing agents. They're not just great, strong listing agents, man. They're just great agents, great people. We all collaborate. We were doing Zoom masterminds, what people are doing to get listings. People are just open to share. We say there's enough business out there for everyone.
Oh yeah.
I'm always one that I would love to share whatever I'm doing, because too, it's also, you can share everything. And the information's great, but if you don't take any action or you don't do anything with the information, it's not for anything. It's not worth anything.
So you're doing, I see you're still doing your videos, and you have the guy in your office also interviewing agents, and so stepping into the video world, and you know, 1.8 million words is 60 seconds of video. So 1 minute of video is 1.8 million words. That's the power of the video, which is mind-boggling, I think.
I agree. And we embraced video a while ago. We do a lot of trainings. We video the trainings. But we're looking as a brokerage on how we can even scale our video more, offer more trainings, more ways to stream, more ways for agents to be able to view the videos, even with a bigger geographical footstep. So that's kind of what we're doing right now as a brokerage. And it's one of my missions, is like, how do we scale what we're doing on video? How do we give a bigger net out to agents as a resource during this time. And we're really teaching agents to really leverage video to help with their lead conversion, to help with their lead generation, especially in times like this. Video texting is so powerful, video on your social media. So we have our recruiter doing it with the company. We're really, really trying to push video and get agents in front of it, right? And like we've heard many times, where you sound and look on video the way you do in real life. So just embrace it.
Yep, that is the truth, 100%. I think that video is, if you're not doing it, you're going to be left in the dust, right?
Okay. You know,
Whereas
I think video is now going to become the standard.
Right. So video texting is big.
Yes.
Video texting is big.
There was an agent I was working with, and I was saying, hey, you know, you're getting a tough time getting a response from this lead, try sending a video text. And I usually coach agents, have some type of standard video text ready in your phone. So when you get that lead, you can send out the video text. If you don't have it automated through a CRM, something as just a follow-up, you should have some stuff like that assets banked in your phone of the video. And I joke around, and I was telling the agent, like, try it, struggled, finally sent it, got the response.
Because people feel obligated to respond when you use video text.
Right.
There's a connection, because if we're on TV.
Right.
A video, your brain thinks the video is TV. It doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. And you know what I said? If that lead got 3 other agents reaching out and they're all doing the same exact thing, but then you send a video text, what's making you stand out? With the market as competitive as it is now, every agent needs to think of, what am I doing that's going to make me stand out to the rest of the agents? Because basically, if 3 agents send the same text message, all from the same CRM, or they send the same email response, canned response, how do you know you're going to get picked? Right? I don't like being lucky. I like trying to make things happen. So the video text, how do you take it a level up? I always say, there's so much money to be made in this business in the follow-up. That's where you really, really, really separate yourself from most agents, is when you have really good follow-up.
As they say, the fortune's in the follow-up, right, Carl?
110%. And when I was an agent, that's what separated me from the rest of the pack that I was around, was I was ruthless and relentless on follow-up. And this was before there was Zillow. This was before there was Trulia and paid leads. And, you know, I think sometimes what happens is when a lot of agents start paying for leads, their follow-up goes down a little bit, because like, oh, well, maybe the next one that comes in is going to be good. Where they're leaving a lot of money on the table because they're not really working those leads that came in. And it's funny because, right, internet lead is when they come in, they might not be ready for 6 months. So I always say to an agent, like, raise your hand if you plan on being in this business in 6 months. Okay, so you don't want this deal that came across your lap today? You don't want this in 6 months? Like, aren't you still going to be in the business? 6 months goes like that, right? So I always say, don't always focus on so much having the new lead. Focus on make sure you're giving 110% to the leads you get, and it becomes more profitable.
It's taking, would you say it's taking everything that you have, and if it's here, elevating it to here, and it's
right.
doesn't cost you any more money. It's like, okay, what's my action plan? We use Follow Up Boss as our CRM, so
okay, yeah,
we have action plans in there. But what's my action plan once that comes, the opportunity comes in? Day 1, call, text, email. Call, video, text, email. Day 2, call, video, text, email. How do you reach them? So how can we do the video text better? How can we do the email better? How could we make the phone message better? Because it's the attention to the detail, right, that will go to the next level. Because if, like you said, everybody's doing the same thing, but if you're just, isn't it always the little tweaks that make the biggest difference?
And you know, this John Shevlock says it, right? tiny hinges swing big doors.
Right.
And I love it. I say that all the time now. And the first thing I do with an agent, and I've done this with agents, not even in my brokerage, I always sit down and I love to analyze an agent's last 24 months of deals. I love finding the patterns in their deal flow. And most agents don't even sit down and realize it until I sit with them, where their leads are coming from, how they're generating the leads. And I love taking that because to me, that's the blueprint of what they need to do to scale their business to even higher levels. And you're right, Maria. It's usually small changes in what they're already doing to generate that business that helps them escalate and 10x their business. It's not always like, oh, I need to get more lead sources. It's like, what are you doing now and how do you make it better? There's so many agents I've talked to where 50% of their business was referrals past clients, yet they had no referral past client system. They were basic. I said, you're basically just getting, you're good. So you're getting lucky. You're just picking up your phone. That's your business plan. You pick up your phone, right? What if we're able to ways that where you're proactive with your referrals and past clients, and we can grow your share of the referrals because you enjoy working by referrals and you can make it very profitable, right? And it's usually just those small changes, those aha moments, wow, I never looked at it like that, right? And that's the value we try to add for agents. But like you said, it's usually the small little things, like what are you doing well that you can do better? I know there's some real estate coaches, gurus out there that say you need 21 different lead generation sources. I'm not the biggest fan of that statement. I think you usually need 3, 4.
Let's try maximum 5. The
right,
5-finger rule.
You need to do 5. If you could do those really, really, really well, then you will do better, right? It's like the best baseball pitcher ever was one of the best baseball pitchers ever. His name was Mariano Rivera, closer for the Yankees. I'm a huge Yankees fan. He didn't have 5, 6, 7 pitches. He had 2 that you couldn't hit. So if you're a realtor, you need 2 lead generation tactics that you do better than everybody else and stay in those lanes and not get distracted. Because I think as an industry, there's too many shiny objects. Like, oh, you could generate leads this way. You could generate leads this way. You could generate leads this way. But there's no more business. You got to focus on what you do really strong, and it's usually what you really like doing. And you need to learn how to maximize those lead generations before you start sprinkling in other new avenues.
Otherwise, you're just leaving money on the table.
You're leaving money on the table and you're just chasing your tail.
Yeah. Well, you have to get good at some things, right? Like whether that's working with for sale by owners or expired listings or being the best buyer agent, in the business, in the queen of condos, or, the person who sells all horse farms. I don't know. I'm saying niche marketing.
Yeah. I mean, you see some agents and they're a foreclosure specialist, luxury specialist, military specialist, senior specialist. I just see they have all these titles. I'm like, probably doesn't mean they really specialize in anything, right? They're reaching. Right. When I was an agent, I was a distress specialist, short sales, REOs, foreclosures. That was my niche. And I doubled down on it. And I like to think I got really good at doing that. Right. You can't be great at everything. You got to pick those couple avenues. I have really good friends that focus on luxury condos. I have good friends that focus on first-time home buyers. But figure out what you really like. Figure out how to really scale it and build around there. And I always say too, not everybody is cut out. Not everybody's cut out to be a big listing agent. And it's okay. You go in some of these Facebook groups and you see like, oh, you got to be a listing agent. If you don't want to be a listing agent because you don't really like handling listings, because handling buyers and handling listings are 2 totally different ball games. 2 totally different ball games.
It's 2 separate businesses. It's not even 100%. It's not even the same business.
Right. And if you enjoy working with the buyer side, it's okay. Don't go into the Facebook group and feel like you have to make that switch over because that's what everybody's saying in a group. Just learn how to work with the most amount of buyers you can in the least amount of time and systemize around that. And I know agents that have done that do well over $20, $30 million, and they're predominantly buy side because that's what they enjoy doing. And they figured out ways to scale it.
Yeah,
So any agent listening to this, just really focus on what you enjoy doing and build around that.
So speaking of that, focusing on what you enjoy doing, and building around it. And the beginning of the year or the end of the year, we always make a business plan to build our business plan is usually to build what we want to do so that we can have the life that we want and enjoy the fruits of our labor from our business.
Right.
So now we're in June 22nd, 2020, halfway through the year. And we've been, well, we all know where we've been over the last however many weeks it is now. I've lost count, Carl. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But are you talking to agents? What do they do about their business plan? They had all these great plans that they laid out. Do you redo your business plan? Do you tweak it? Do you throw it aside and, or do you just keep going and trying to hit it? Because, I mean, I think, a lot of people lost a lot of business this year because of COVID, et cetera.
Right. This is why I tell agents. Number one, I never use the word goals. I don't set goals. I set milestones. And the reason I do that is, and that's something a mentor taught me a long time ago, is when I had 8 agents, if I set a goal, I just want 25 agents. Once I hit 25 agents, I hit that goal. But then what's next, right? To me, it's a milestone. So and we do business planning, business planning is great and everything, but nobody could put COVID-19 in their business plan. So this is why I tell agents like, oh, this was my goal. This was my plan. I said, everybody had goals and plans. Forget about it. What can you do today? What can you control today? What micro commitments can you make over the next week to get you in the path that you want to go? Because at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. So I'm having that conversation with a lot of agents. Okay, Carl, I'm getting back into it. New Jersey, we were able to show within CDC guidelines. We were never.
Did you ever shut down at all?
No, for 1 week there was.
Oh wow.
We were going back and forth on how to interpret the guidelines, and then the governor clarified it. So we were able to work through the whole time. I also told agents like, hey, you have to work at the level you're comfortable working. I can't judge how you handle and your comfort level is with everything going on during a pandemic. That is up to you, the agent. I can't make that decision. All I can do is educate you on how to do it safely. But if you're right now not comfortable, and we saw a lot of agents, hey, Carl, I'm not comfortable showing right now. That's fine. I would never want to force somebody to be in a situation where they didn't feel comfortable. But what we've seen is most agents have come around with the regulations and the mask, and we have showing guidelines. Everyone's been following that, and luckily everything's been going well. But that's why I tell agents, you know what, your 2020 business plan is thrown way off. Okay. But even during COVID-19, there are certain things that you could do. Is you can stay consistent in your actions. You can stay focused on your business, right? You could either go watch Netflix and just write it off, or you could double down on and focus. I always tell people I worked more during COVID in 3 months of COVID than I did for the 3 months prior to that. Did I have to? No, but it was my choice and my duty leading my agents through this to work like I did. Right. And I'm glad we did, because we have actually grown as a brokerage during this time. So you can only control what you can control, but you could control your actions. Like we stayed committed to our training. We stayed committed to providing value to our agents. We committed being a resource to our agents of what was going on. Same thing as an agent, right? You could stay committed to what you can take this time. You could have taken the COVID time to relook at your business plan and what can you do, work on your marketing, stay in front of your past clients, but not in that salesy pitch of, hey, the concern, everything in your nature. So we're telling agents, this is where we're at. What are your micro commitments moving forward to get your business to that next level with everything that's gone on? You know what? If your number was 40 million and you only do 38 million, but you took that time and you had some downtime, or 35 million, took some downtime to really organize and refocus your business, where can that launch you to next year? right? It's not always, it's not always about that top number. Sometimes you might go back a little bit. You have to take one step back, half a step back to take that 4 steps forward. So that's what we're really focused on, helping the agents and educating them with.
I think this gave, Carl, people a lot of time to think about really what they want to do. You know,
Yes.
What do you want to focus on? What are you doing that you want to stop doing? What are you doing that you want to not doing that you want to start doing? You know, oh, I work with buyers, but I really want to work with listings. Or I work with listings and I hate it. I really want to work with buyers. Or I want to develop a whole new business. Like you just mentioned to me that you launched mortgage right when this all started. So you added another pillar of business to your company, and that's been going well.
That's been going well. And, you know, it's something we had been working on for 8 months behind the scenes. And the day it went live was probably one of the worst days that it could have gone live with everything going on. But I just said, hey, listen, it is what it is. Can't stop it. We're not stopping. We just got to move forward. We're just going to work through it, and we're just going to stay committed to our goals.
And it's doing well. What's the name of it?
It's called First Team Mortgage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've been live for about 60 days, right around. And it's just, again, you can only control what you can control. Right? We worked on this for 8 months. And we didn't know it was going to hit exactly at the worst time possible. But everything happens for a reason, and you just got to plug through and stay focused on your goals.
Well, it's good that your market's been busy, although the inventory is low. You had mentioned there's a lot of people moving out of New York.
Yep, we see a big influx into Central Jersey. We see people who are looking that they want more yard space. I was reading some article about how pools are becoming more popular. They're going to be people are going to be home for the summer, right?
I want a pool.
Yeah.
I live in the city, so I don't have a pool, and it's hot here.
Yeah. I always tell my wife I would love a pool from June to July, but so we see a lot of things are changing or adapting, and it's just more competitive than now. I mean, we have more agents now than we're probably at an all-time high of agents. So there's a lot of competition, but the more you've really sharpened on your tools and worked on scripts and your dialogue and your tonality and how you're dealing with the buyers and sellers makes a huge difference, especially in a competitive market.
Well, and to be the market expert, right? And whatever it is that your market is, people want to know that you're the market expert. And how do you become that? Like over the last 60, 90 days, I think you have a lot of time to study the market. Even now, I mean, there's never too late to start.
No, I agree. And listen, being that market expert is something people can't take away from you.
No, that's why, we all don't start at the same spot. We're all not starting over again. Some have more experience and other more knowledge about the industry. So now how do you take that and parlay that into something to the next level of what that is, and what do you want that to look like?
Right.
Envisioning it.
And we have agents in our office that dominate certain areas. And I gotta tell you, I always say the knowledge they have can never be replaced by a disruptor. They can hear an address and they can tell you the color of the shutters. I mean, I've seen the conversations happen, and I'm like, no disruptor could ever take that knowledge away. Or you knew who the seller was two sellers ago, and you knew about this issue. I mean, just having that market knowledge. And I always say to agents too, is sometimes I challenge agents, stop going so wide. Just, sometimes if you go really deep, you're going to be better off.
And that's where the video comes in. The videos come in. And even in talking to your past clients and your database, people that already have come in. So if you can go deep with them through utilizing video and creating video content for education, because not everybody's going to be ready this year. Maybe it's next year, but they saw 72 videos of Carl. He sent 72 videos in a year and 2 months. They got a video every week. What would happen to an agent's business if they did that every single week? A market update, or like we do a market update and we do a Be the Solution. So I don't know. You have thousands and thousands of people there. We think over time, because we don't live in a vacuum. Things aren't going to happen when we want them to happen necessarily. They're going to happen when that customer or client is ready to make the move. And if you've been there and you
it's circle process, whatever you're doing, it's the consistency, right? I would give me that person who's going to be consistent and go down that path over someone who might be more talented, who's going to do it sporadically. I mean, the more consistent you are and the more education you're getting, it's going to happen. But I think that's what it is too many agents and, too many people in life, you try it once or it doesn't work and you give up. Are you willing to go down that road and be consistent to really help you grow?
And consistency, we have to tell the truth, is boring.
Yeah.
It's boring to be consistent. It's fun to be all over the place. Squirrel, what's the next shiny object? But being consistent and getting up every day, making your follow-up, reaching out to your past clients, doing all these things, it's the redundancy of it is that what is going to make somebody successful or not.
100%. And there's no overnight success.
No, and it's not glamorous either.
No. And I tell agents, even newer agents, I say, don't ever compare your page 1 to somebody else's page 100. Oh, I want to be like that agent. Well, you didn't see that agent in the beginning when they were standing in parking lots handing out flyers or door knocking entire subdivisions the day of an open house. You're seeing now, but don't compare your page 1 to somebody else's page 100.
Yeah. And with that too, right? What did they do before this? Like you see the glory, but you don't know the story is one of my favorite ones, because what somebody's career was before this career could catapult them 15 years into the business in 1 year because of their experience prior to. And it could take somebody else 15 years to get to where that person did in a year.
That's so true.
I came into the business from radio advertising sales, making 100 contacts a day, 10 appointments at 2 closes to get a deal. Yeah. 100 to get 2. Now you do 100. How many? So like you go into, don't forget, somebody just, unless you're coming right out of high school or college, we had a career or something before this. We're all not, our life experiences are what bring us, so you can't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. I got all these little sayings, Carl. We could go all day.
Yeah, no, you're 110% right. I mean, what an amazing foundation to get in this business with what you did in the radio sales, right? I mean, that's going to cut down your learning curve in this business of cold calling, prospecting, because you already had that built in.
Yeah, and if without that, I wouldn't hit the ground running like I did in 2004 when I entered. So I always tell people, remember, what were your experiences before real estate, whether it's a career or, we all are unique. We all are special people. And whatever happened in our lives before this are part of who we are today. And I think that's where, you get your grit from, right? You get, or not.
Yeah, and when you're building your business, I mean, there's a lot of lows, right? And I tell agents all the time, in this business, you can't take the highs too highs and the lows too lows. Because when everything's clicking, closings are rolling in, this is the greatest thing, it's going to go. But then when there's the reverse of that in this business, is when it's really tough, struggling, maybe it's a hard winter, whatever it might be, it can feel like you could be stuck there forever.
Like people might feel right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's no inventory and you're working with mainly buyers and you're writing offers and they're not getting accepted, a lot of people, it definitely is not. It's been a tough time for
it can be very everybody. Deflating.
Yeah. So what do they do? Right? Find someone to talk to. Have like a partner. I'm always texting people like, how you doing? Like, I'm not doing too good today. Or I'll tell people. I'm having it. Listen, we all have tough days, and you got to keep going. I got up this morning. I wanted to go back to bed. Truth. I didn't sleep well, and even though I went to bed fairly at a decent hour, 10:30, 10:15, but I was up all night. All night, bad dreams, all kinds of crazy stuff. I have no idea why. I could have said, you know what? I'm supposed to see Carl today on Be the Solution. Maybe I don't want to be the solution today. Maybe I don't feel like being the solution. I could have said, Carl, something came up, can't do it. Like, we could do that every day with every little thing that comes around us, right? Yeah, I didn't get to that email. I know I should have answered them. They emailed on, Saturday morning. It's on Monday morning, or days have went by, or, we have to still take the action even when we don't feel like it. And I think that's what separates I don't want to say the winners from the losers, but the people that are going to be successful, not just in real estate, though, in any business.
Right.
We have to keep going, right?
Yeah. And, on that point, when this all hit, I had a call with my leadership team, and I said, this is time to put the pedal to the metal. I said, we need to stay laser focused, and we need to go 110%. I said, this is not a time to sit back and, what's happening, and feel bad for ourselves. We got to stay safe, but we got to put the foot on the pedal, and we need to go. And that's just probably the way I'm wired. But I always like to look at opportunity as any situation as where can I get some opportunity out of this, and where can I really go?
Yeah. I see the people that have taken action, massive action, and their business is doing very well right now. And the people that decided not to take action, and for whatever reason,
Right. Exactly. And it's not a right or wrong thing. Everyone's got to take their personal choices during times like this. Correct.
But know that, and, be okay with what you chose to do at the time.
Right.
Like, don't beat yourself up about it. We do that. Like, maybe, that you thought that was the best thing for you and your family at the time, then okay. So here we are. Can't go backwards. We only can go forward.
100%.
We only can go forward. And, you said a lot of good little nuggets there about how, continuing to push forward and to go deep within whatever it is that the agent is looking to do. And if they continue to do that, you can start right now and still have an okay 2020, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, 2020 is going to pass. Who knows what the rest of the year is going to look like, but 2020 is going to pass. Just focus on what you can do now and what you can commit to that's going to help you in the long run.
How many contracts can we write in the next 4 months before the election?
Right. Hey, you can just focus on what you can focus on.
It's a lot of things that are happening simultaneously. So I say, get up every day, I'll put my big girl panties on, and get the day started, right? Get the day going. What is like the top 3 things that somebody can do right now? They haven't really been doing anything.
Top 3 things they could do right now. They could reach out to their past clients, their sphere. What else could they do? So they could do. I also tell agents, make sure you have all your marketing and everything done that you can leverage. If you haven't taken this time, put together some of the videos like we talked about that you can send out to people, old leads. But if you're really starting day one, you're like, where am I going from here? I would just look through your old leads. If I was a listing agent, I would go back and I would either look for absentee owners. So that with vacant properties, I would go back to people who maybe expired before the holidays, who said, hey, I was going to relist during the spring, who might now pushed it off to COVID because of COVID. I would also definitely have my messaging down and not even just messaging, what I really would do as a listing agent to make sure that we're doing this in the safest way possible. And I just want to use it as marketing. I mean, you really have to know how you're going to do that and do it the right way. And I would go back to those old sellers that expired back in the fall that might have waited. And we said, let's wait till after the holidays to the spring market. Our spring market has now gotten shifted back. So those are the leads I would go to. So those are just some of the actions that I would take as an agent today to try to generate some business.
Yeah, that's great. I agree. I think going back to the old expires from last year is a really good idea, because now they were going to go back on in March, April.
Right.
And they may not be being called.
Right. And I would do, in parallel with that, I would call them and also have a video that I could send out about the market update. What's happening? We tracked a lot of showing activity during the whole pandemic through showing time statistics. We are above the showing rate of last year in New Jersey where we are. Now, this is market specific, so definitely check your market. But we have some of that data that we can educate sellers on. We have guidelines of how to show your house properly. Have a video about that if you talk with somebody, says, I'm thinking about reselling, not sure if it's the right time. Send them the video text. Send them the video of the market. Give them some data to back up what you're saying. And that will make you stand out from other agents that are also trying to call.
Yeah, back to video. It's all about video.
Yeah, it is.
It's all about video, because we make the connection. I feel like you and I right now are sitting in the same room together, except I'm in Philadelphia and you're in East Brunswick.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Great. It's a great way to connect. Great way. Again, agents. How do you stand out from other agents in the marketplace during these competitive times? If you don't know how it makes you stand out, I really challenge you to figure it out and work on it and get that message across.
They can call you, Carl. Where should they call you at?
They can call me. They can reach out to me through Facebook, social media, Facebook Messenger. I help a lot of agents try to implement new strategies into their business. I mean, I enjoy doing it as a broker.
I love it. I love it. I love your outlook, and you have such a nice, sweet, lovely demeanor. I enjoyed our time today together, and I hope that I'm sure that a lot of people here that are going to be watching are going to see the value of all these great ideas that you brought to the table. And I am very happy to see that you're doing well and you're expecting another child into your family. So congratulations again on that. And I hope to see you maybe in September.
I hope so.
Yeah. Hotlanta.
Yeah, I'll be there. If it happens, I'll be there.
I'm going to be there. Even if I can't fly for some reason, I'll drive.
Yeah.
It's only 12 hours. I could stop somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. To me, I'll be back a little bit of normalcy, being able to do something like that, which I think we're all craving right now. And I really appreciate that you asked me to come on. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. I am grateful and appreciative and and full of gratitude for having you on today, Carl.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye.